Here we are at the end of yet another year, but you know what that means, another top 10 list. And today, join me as I do my top 10 Marvel Legends inspired from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Pow, and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. Now, as tradition on this channel, at the end of the year, I always break it down into categories, and today is my top 10 Marvel Legends from the MCU. And what a year it has been, as we had that 10-year anniversary line that filled a lot of gaps in the collection, and the quality of figures seems to be going up. So it wasn't easy to put this list together. I did ask you guys on Instagram for your favourites from the MCU, and I got some fun results. But this is my own personal list. So the only rules are one, I have to own the figure, and two, it has to be inspired from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So that could mean we could see some builder figures mixed in with this top 10. As long as they are in the MCU, it is all included in this list. So again, I'm changing my mind every 10 minutes, so I need to do this video quick. But if you've been following this channel for a while, then you know that the MCU is my bread and butter. It's what got me back into collecting again, and I love creating that little universe on my shelf. So let's get into it, shall we? This is my top 10 Marvel Legends from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Enjoy! Now, before we get into the top 10, I wanted to do some honourable mentions because, as I keep saying, it's been such a great year for MCU figures. I had to give these guys some love. So starting over here, we have Ant-Man and the Wasp, and the Angelina Lily and the Paul Rudd heads look amazing, especially that little smirky face. We get the Mark 7 Iron Man from the first Avengers film, probably one of the best Iron Men in Marvel Legends form we have. We also finally get Pepper Potts. It may be her version from Iron Man 3 rather than the suited Pepper Potts, but it is still nice to finally have her officially in the collection. In the middle here, we have Thor and Black Widow from the Infinity War film, along with Teenage Groot, which again, all three figures are great, just don't quite make the list. And then over here, we get some characters that we were looking to fill in our collection with Trevor Slattery, aka the fake Mandarin, and then Ronan the Accuser back there, who is going to be in the new Captain Marvel film as well, interestingly. Maybe this would have made the top 10 as it is very accurate. It's just the articulation and that shoulder issue let it down just a little bit. But I still love all of these figures in my collection. They just didn't quite make the top 10. So let's get into it. So kicking it off at number 10 is Proxima Midnight, one of the members of the Black Order from Avengers Infinity War. Now, I always like it when we get another villain for our collection, and she is going to look even better when you have the whole Black Order on the shelf with her. So far, obviously, we have Obsidian, and next year, Hasbro have already announced they're going to give us Corvus Glaive, which is her husband, and Ebony Maw, and we can have the full Black Order surrounding Phaneuf in our collection. So I think people will appreciate her a lot more in the new year when we have the full Black Order. But she is a female figure with double jointed elbows. Hasbro like to point that out. Again, she's an alien creature, so she's a bit taller than normal female figures, so it was easy for Hasbro to do that, but it was something that they liked to point out. I like her character design. She comes with her spear that you see in the film as well, and she does tower above an average figure, as she should. Very menacing, nice member of the Black Order. I just look forward to getting the rest. So she made it in my top 10. Coming in at number 9, we have Red Skull and the Hydra Agent. Now, if someone had told me at the beginning of last year that we were going to get an MCU army builder, I would have called them a liar. And I was so happy to get Red Skull, such an iconic character who did make a reappearance in Infinity War this year in his classic sort of costume from the very first Captain America film, his militant sort of commanding look, and the fact that we can have some of his troops flanking him is perfect. I really like how they give us the extra head sculpt so you can create your own army on the shelf for your MCU characters. Now, obviously, this is the Red Skull from the San Diego Comic-Con box set that come packed with the one scale of the Tesseract, but these are the guys that also come with a Red Skull head, but you can put a harness on like you've done here and give them their own Hydra soldier look. So I've got all three of the heads displayed here, as I brought a couple of these. And again, these are toys after all, and I like the playability factor, and I like it when Hasbro give us displaying options. So again, for the only MCU army builder we have, And for Red Skull and his Hydra agents, they had to creep into my top 10 just for sort of filling out the ranks in my collection. So yeah, the Hydra agents and Red Skull make it to number 9. At number 8, we have Vision. Now, the MCU version of Vision we had been wanting since the Age of Ultron film, and he was heavily involved in Civil War as well, and it was so frustrating for us collectors that we weren't able to fill out the full Team Stark from that film in Marvel Legends form until we got this figure. And they finally give it us in an Infinity War 2-pack with Scarlet Witch this year, and it didn't disappoint, to be fair. I really like this figure. I like the texturing on the body. It looks very accurate to the version of Vision we see in the MCU. And even though he's meant to be a robot, you can definitely see elements of Paul Bettany in the eyes and on that 3D face printing, which I really, really like. The only thing I dislike about the figure, I wish the cape was posed in a better way rather than wrapped around the figure, but I still like it. You can still get him in some decent poses on from flight stands, and he doesn't disappoint. Very much one we needed for our MCU shelf, especially amongst the Avengers, and hopefully it's not the last time we see him in Infinity War. So yes, Vision made my top 10 list, creeped in at number 8. At number 7, we have Yellow Jacket from the first Ant-Man film way back in 2015. Now, for whatever reason, Hasbro skipped this character when they originally released some figures for that film, probably because they didn't think Ant-Man would be very popular. But this was a decent villain, great character design, and thanks to the Marvel Studios 10th anniversary line, they have managed to fill some gaps in our collection, and I'm very happy with this Yellow Jacket. I love the articulation we've got here on the backpack that definitely represents some of the powers you get from the film. Very screen accurate. The only thing I'd like to have got with this figure really is an unmasked Darren Cross head we could have put on a suited body, but still I really, really like it. Definitely a figure that we needed to fill in some villain gaps on our shelf. And again, I can't say there's much wrong with it. I like the sort of honeycomb detailing sculpt on the body. Really nice articulation. I like the translucent yellow there on the eyes. And again, all of this backpack piece is articulated. It's really, really nice. Stands out. There's just some characters I like a little bit more than Darren Cross's Yellow Jacket. But he still made the list as it's a great figure. And he sits there at number 7. Coming in at number 6 is Crossbones. Now that's probably a little bit high for a few people on the top 10 lists, but I really like this character design of Crossbones, and I didn't think we'd get him in figure form, as Hasbro didn't seem to give us him when Civil War originally come out. So again, this is why I love the Marvel Studios line so much. They managed to fill some gaps, and I was so happy to finally get a Crossbones. And I love the fact that they gave us some posing options, as you do get an interchangeable head that has the actor Frank Grillo's all scarred up face that happens at the end of the Winter Soldier, and it actually looks like Frank Grillo as well, even though it's all scarred up, which I really, really like. These gauntlet pieces as well are made of a soft plastic and come off the arms, and he's just wearing like his tactical gear, and it's got loads of sculpted detail. It's just a shame that like the guns that are sculpted in don't actually come out of the harness, and he's got lots of ammo up here as well. I just really like his tactical sort of outfit. I feel like I could get some of my Hydra sort of MCU soldiers to follow him on my shelf. Yeah, just really like getting the displaying options. And again, the reason it's so high on my list is because I love the character design. It's a figure I didn't think we'd get, and then when I had it in hand, it didn't disappoint. So yeah, sitting at 6, we have Frank Grillo's Crossbones. Creeping into the top 5, we have Cull Obsidian. Yes, I know he's a Build-A-Figure, but it is within the rules, as this top 10 list is just MCU inspired figures, whether they're Build-A-Figures or single carded. As long as they are MCU inspired and it come out in 2018, it is valid for the list. And the only reason this guy isn't higher is because it seems to have been designed using some concept art rather than what actually made the movie, as the outfit he's wearing in the film is a little bit different to this version we got here. But this version is still very, very nice. I did say in my full review of this guy that I would have loved to have seen like a chain coming apart from his weapon, so he could have actually used it like he does in New York against Spider-Man and Iron Man. And again, a very imposing, well made, heavy, chunky figure. Really, really like it, and I can't wait to have the rest of the Black Order to go along with Proxima Midnight, Corvus Glaive, Ebony Maw, all standing with Phaneuf for the display. Really, really like it. The only reason, as I said, it didn't get higher is because it's not as accurate as it was in the movie, which is a little bit disappointing, but it's still a great figure. Will definitely find a home in my display. So at number 5, even though it's a builder figure, it's still an MCU figure called Obsidian. At number 4, we have Eric Killmonger in his tactical gear and the tribal mask from the Black Panther movie. Now, when the first Black Panther wave come out, this is the figure that I wanted, and I was gutted that they didn't include it. And then, out of nowhere, Hasbro announced they were doing a second Black Panther wave at San Diego Comic-Con, and this was one of the figures, and I was so happy to get him in his military outfit. I don't know why, I just really like the character design. I love the tribal mask, and the unmasked Michael B. Jordan head is near perfection. It is really, really good. And again, this second wave of Black Panther figures had some of the best MCU figures that we had ever had. So it had proper shifted around my original top 10 list. And this guy had been up and down like a yo-yo, but he found his home at number 4. Again, tomorrow I may move him up, may move him down, but he is still going to be high on my list no matter where he finishes. But today it's at 4, and yeah, it's just a simple figure, I admit, but I just like the character design. It's a figure I didn't think we would get, so I'm happy we got him. And yeah, Killmonger in his tactical gear sits at number 4. At number 3, a surprising choice even to myself, but it is Eusidius Claw from the second Black Panther wave of the year. Now, since we've seen Claw in Age of Ultron, I wanted a Claw figure, and I'm so happy we now have one for the collection, and this is great. I know it's a simple figure, it's just a guy in a suit, he's got a prosthetic arm, but it's so accurate to the character design, it brings so much personality to the shelf. And again, it's another character I didn't think we would get, so it gets sort of extra brownie points for that. The head sculpt is amazing. You can definitely see elements of Andy Serkis, the actor who I really like. I'm glad we got that. And he's got like a beaten up look as well, but he's still got that evil grin about him. It's just so good. I like the tattoos on his arm as well, and you've got the details with the ring. And then this prosthetic arm actually opens up to reveal his sort of sound cannon made out of Wakandan tech, which I just really, really like. And what's so good about this figure as well, you can take out that arm, pose him with no arm if you didn't want to, or you can give him a prosthetic arm like from in the films, but without the cannon attached to it, which I just think is a nice touch from Hasbro. Shows the people over there making these figures do pay attention to what's going on. And again, I know it's high on the top 10 list, but it's so accurate. It's a figure I didn't think we would get, and I'm so happy to have. He just looks so fun. Definitely stands out in your collection amongst the rest of your characters. I love the evil little grin. So yeah, surprisingly, but Eusidius Claw sits at number 3 in my top 10 list. This year's runner-up at number 2, we have the M'Baku Build-A-Figure from the second Black Panther wave of the year. Now, this was a late entry as it is the last Build-A-Figure we got this year, but you have to admit what a great one it is. Another character we didn't expect to get at all from the Black Panther film, but I'm very happy to get him, and he looks very accurate here from the film. It is a little bit hindered in regards to articulation, but for me personally, he's going to be standing, imposing on the shelf, and I think it is fine. It would have been good to get some interchangeable heads with maybe some different expressions, because he looks too happy. Winston Duke there, the actor, the resemblance is uncanny. It is so good. I think even he tweeted about it himself. It is really, really good. I like the figure a lot. Very accurate. Hasbro obviously had the time to get him right, as the film had been out for a while when they decided to make one of these figures. And yeah, throughout the figure, the paint detail, the sculpt work, again, you're not going to get this guy into any crazy dynamic poses, but it's still going to look nice and stand out in your collection. Definitely a figure we didn't expect to get, but a happy addition to anyone's MCU collection. So my runner-up this year is M'Baku. Now at number 1, could it have been anyone else but Phaneuf himself? Now, let's be honest, 2018 has been the year of Phaneuf. He did defeat the Avengers after all in Infinity War this year, and it was so good to actually get a more screen accurate version of Phaneuf from Hasbro after their sort of failed first attempt when we got the Build-A-Figure early in the year. This is obviously the version we got in the 3-pack with Doctor Strange and Iron Man in the Marvel Studios line, and it is a much more screen accurate version of Phaneuf in regard to the paint detail. I really like the open hand gauntlet as well, and you also got 2 interchangeable heads that look very accurate to the Phaneuf that we see in the movie. I like that we get a nice angry one as well to get him in some more dynamic poses. But the only thing I wish we got is a clenched up fist for the Infinity Gauntlet hand, but if you do keep hold of the old Builder figure, you can swap them in and out and it doesn't make a difference at all. But yes, very nice. As I said, 2018 has been the year of Phaneuf, so it had to be him at number 1, and I'm sure nobody would disagree with me. Definitely going to be a main player in anyone's MCU collection now, as it has all been leading to him, and we are still yet to find out the conclusion in Avengers Endgame. So I'm sure it's not the last time we see Phaneuf in figure form for Marvel Legends, as we've already started to see teasers online of Phaneuf in all of his armor with his double-bladed sword and whatnot. So I'm looking forward to seeing how Phaneuf is portrayed next year in Avengers, and if we get him in figures form. Fingers crossed we do. But this year, he is a winner. It is Phaneuf at number 1 with the Infinity Gauntlet as well. Very screen accurate. Definitely a main player in my collection now. So yeah, 2018 best MCU figure, in my humble opinion, has to be Phaneuf. So there you have it, my top 10 Marvel Legends inspired from the MCU for 2018. Now, anyone who follows this channel knows how hard it was for me to create this list, as I love all the movie figures that we get, I really do. It still blows my mind that we get these figures to recreate our own mini universes on our shelves at home, and the quality just seems to be getting better and better. And this year was amazing with the announcement of that Marvel Studios line, where they filled in a lot of gaps and gave us characters that we never thought we would see in figure form. So long may that continue. I really do hope that Hasbro keep doing that moving forward, but we've still got lots to look forward to, especially with Avengers Endgame coming out next year. So I'm excited to see what figures come from that, and I'm sure we will find out soon. But as always, I'm sure you agree and disagree with parts of my list, so please let me know in the comments below, and I'll try to reply to as many people as I can. And as always, check out that videos tab. Over 250 videos of me talking about Marvel Legends, reviewing Marvel Legends, breaking Marvel Legends news. So if you're into that type of stuff, most importantly, hit that subscribe button. It is the only thing I ask, and it is much appreciated. So as always, people, my name is Dan W, and I shall see you on the next one.